Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are going to be talking about some health and wellness shenaniganery that I was sent on Instagram. So to the person that sent me this page, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. But today we are going to be talking about this page right here. It's called The Wagner Way. Before we get into it, don't go to this person's page and leave any comments or anything like that. If you have anything to say, please leave it in the comments down below, but leave this person alone as far as going on their personal page. At first, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, it doesn't really seem that crazy. But then I started looking into it. And as you can see, right, so it says, helping busy women get in the best shape of their lives through my fuel-based fat loss method, nutritionist and fitness specialist, and then they have a link. But the thing that is interesting about this person is they are claiming that they eat 10,000 calories a day and they have improved their health and like lost weight and, you know, recomped their entire body while eating 10,000 calories a day. And they claim that through their coaching, they are able to help other people, you know, eat more and lose weight. And while those are two very different claims, claiming that you can eat 10,000 calories and not gain weight and in fact improve your health and improve all of these other things is very different than being able to help other people eat more and lose weight, because that is a claim that I've actually used myself, and I feel like there is a little bit of backstory to that, so we will talk about that. So the first post that I want to go over is this one right here, where it is someone apparently messaged her and said, are you feeding yourself for weight gain, right? And then she goes on to say, someone asked me today if eating 10,000 calories was for weight gain, and the answer is, right? But before we get into the post, let's read this, you know, what she has written down here. So everyone's heard it. The only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit. That's what science says. You have to be in a deficit calorically to lose weight. That's not just what science says. That is just how the body works, especially if we're talking about fat loss, right? You can lose weight while eating a ton of calories or not, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference between weight loss and fat loss. To lose fat, for your body to burn fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit, right? For the most part. The only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit. That's what the science says. But science also once said a woman's uterus would fall out if she ran a marathon. Okay. Science also told doctors to cut open patients and let them bleed into bowls to heal illness. Science is always evolving. This is something that you see super frequently, is that people will say, well, because science in the past has changed, therefore it's almost like you can't really trust what any of the science says because they said this back in the day, right? Science is all about testing things and then seeing what the results is. And the vast majority of tests that put someone in a caloric deficit make it so they lose weight, right? There are I don't think any test where you put someone in a severe 10,000 calorie surplus, right? And then they are just magically losing weight. That's not something that happens, but this is a very common and very good tactic to use because it's like poisoning the well, right? Well, they said this, and so you can't trust anything that science says. So you should listen to me, this random person on Instagram who also happens to be selling you a plan, but we won't talk about that. Let's just talk about the science and how it's wrong, right? And this is true. Says, science is always evolving, and that's exactly what I'm doing, pushing the science forward so women finally get the support they deserve instead of being told just lose weight. Again, this in and of itself is not a bad thing, right? Trying to push science forward and help women and, you know, help them instead of just being told to lose weight. That's important. So there are like things that I agree with what she's doing, but the way that she is going about it, in my opinion, is disingenuous at the best. And at the worst, it is just intentionally, you know, predatory, in my opinion. Either like she truly believes that she is eating 10,000 calories and also losing weight and improving her health. Either she believes that, or she knows that she is not actually doing this, but she is using this exorbitant number and this crazy thing, right, to get people to come to her page, to buy her programming, which I think is not right? I don't know which one it is, but if it is the latter, that's not cool. But it says, that's like asking someone to dig a hole with a toothpick in an hour. Frustrating and totally the wrong tool for the job. I mean, yeah, that would be frustrating. ready to finally heal your body, get your energy back, and achieve lasting results without another fad diet? Comment me and I'll send you the details. Just get the tools that actually work. Your body is not the problem. You just need the right support. So a lot of the claims that she makes is basically the reason that I'm actually able to lose weight is because it's my hormones, which I'm sure a lot of us have heard a lot recently. So this seems to be the newest fad in the diet, wellness, health space, is just saying hormones are bad while also never really going in depth as to what the hormones are that are out of whack, why eating a ton of calories actually helps those hormones. It's just hormones are bad and doing this will fix those bad hormones. But there's never any serious explanation as to what this is. And for what I found when I talk to people that are actually in the field of nutrition and they work on this stuff, they say that the hormone stuff is not at all what people claim it is, right? But let's go ahead and read what she has posted, right? So she says, nope, I ate that amount for metabolic healing. So she is healing her metabolism, eating 10,000 calories a day and not gaining basically any weight. Before eating 10,000 calories, this is the before and after photo, right? Keep in mind, this is the amount I ate for my body. So I think that this is already taking a step back, being like, oh, I'm not saying everyone should do this, because I assume, I don't even want to assume. I mean, I guess I'm assuming because I don't know for sure, but I can almost certainly guarantee that anyone that is working with her through her coaching is not actually eating 10,000 calories, okay? They might be eating more than they were before, which is a good thing sometimes, especially if you are someone that has chronically been dieting and dieting and dieting. One of the most common things, sorry, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but this is important. One of the most common things I've seen myself with working with people is that people think, and this is as respectful as I can, that they are eating in a deficit, but in reality, they are eating in a deficit for 3-4 days out of the week, and then those other 2, 3, 4 days out of the week, they are severely in a surplus, right? And so they think that because they're eating 1,000, 1,200 calories for those 3-4 days, that should work, right? And it's not even like people are intentionally being like, oh, I'm just going to eat more on these days and not care. It's just people think to themselves that the idea that they are working really hard on those 3 or 4 days, that is in their mind. That is what they are doing. That's what they do every day. Every day I eat 1,200 calories. But in reality, they are not thinking and realizing how many calories they are overshooting on the days where they're, I'm just having a little bit extra and I'm going to have a couple drinks and I'm going to, you don't realize how many calories you are eating those days when you are just kind of doing whatever you want. And that is super common. And so something that I've even employed with people I've worked with is being like, we are going to eat more than what you are used to, right? And a lot of times people get very scared. Like, oh my God, I'm going to eat 2,000 calories. I'm going to eat 1,800 calories, but I usually eat 1,200 and I can't even lose weight on that. But in reality, once we work through a few weeks of working together, they're like, yeah, I think I'm not as hungry some days, so I'm not overeating. I'm not having episodes where I'm just having a ton, you know what I mean, or whatever, right? Or another big thing is because they are eating more, they're still eating less weekly, but they're eating more frequently and they're having, a good amount of calories every day. They have more energy, they're moving around more. There's a lot of reasons why someone might think that they are eating more and losing weight, when in reality, their energy balance and the amount of calories they're having weekly is actually a little bit lower, but daily, they are not having the 1,100 calorie day and then a 3,000 calorie day and then a 700 calorie day and then a 2,500, you know what I mean? So that's a really big part of it, and I would not be surprised if that was really a big part of what is happening in this coaching. Okay, sorry, I kind of went off topic there. But she goes on to say, keep in mind, this is the amount I ate for my body. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. My method is personalized to each specific individual, which I think is very important. Every person that I've worked with has been different, right? And so that's important. And then she says, here's the thing. I wasn't eating to bulk. I was eating to allow my body to heal at a cellular level, okay? This is all part of my fuel-based fat loss method. And in case no one has told you yet, the calories in, calories out model is outdated. Interesting. So if you've ever been told you're not tracking your calories correctly, just know you weren't the problem. what you were taught was. Okay, so tracking your calories, this is one thing that I think people think that it's just some easy thing. Oh, you just track your calories. But in reality, learning how to track your calories is a skill in and of itself. Does everyone need to track calories all the time? No, I don't track calories at all anymore, right? But learning how to taught me so much that I use daily in my day-to-day life to be able to navigate the world with better knowledge, right? We've talked about intuitive eating versus what I call mindful eating, right? So the mindful eating, what I learned through tracking, I am able to use that information and make better decisions throughout my day. Therefore, I'm able to mindfully eat without having to track my calories. But tracking calories for so many people can be very powerful, and it can be very helpful for them because, especially if you've never done it in your life and you grew up like I did, you didn't get any, you didn't learn anything about nutrition, you don't have any knowledge, there was no classes really about it. I figured it all out on my own, right? But by doing that, it taught me invaluable skills that I use every day still, right? And so it's not like you have to track calories, but learning how to track calories can be very, very beneficial, and especially tracking them as accurately as possible. With tracking, there's always going to be a level of fluctuation. It's never going to be perfect. Anyone that tells you that they can tracked exactly to the gram, they're probably overestimating what they're able to do. And so like with anything, it's not going to be perfect, but trying to increase and improve how you track your calories can be very beneficial. Okay, so what you were taught was women need way more nourishment than what we were taught. We were taught starvation, but what we need is true support for the human body. I mean, yeah, like starving yourself is not going to be something that works long term, right? And that's something that she talks a lot about, where I agree with, is that trying to just really restrict to a point where you're basically barely eating anything, yeah, that's not going to work long term, right? This is why I am such a big proponent of, when you are losing weight, try to make sure that you find habits and things that you are doing that feel sustainable. Because if you're like, oh my God, I've been on this journey for 8 weeks and like, yeah, I've lost a good amount of weight, but man, this sucks. It's horrible. I can't see myself doing this long term. That is a bad sign, right? That means that what you are doing right now is not something that you will be able to do continuously for a very long period of time. And so I just get frustrated about this because there's a lot of like good information that's woven in with just, in my opinion, quackery, saying you could eat 10,000 calories and that's what your body needs because all the cells are dying and they need all the nourishment they can get. And by eating this amount, you're actually going to heal everything. Like, we've heard this time and time again, right? The reality is not usually what these people are saying, right? But I digress. Let's continue. And you get true support for yourself by actually caring for your body instead of restricting it and starving it. Again, if you are in a deficit, yeah, you are technically, I don't want to say starving your body, but you are giving it less than what it quote unquote needs. But that is how you get your body to burn the fat, and like that is how you lose weight. That's just how I don't know what else to say. Like that's how it works. Now, you can go way too far, right? Which is very common, where people significantly cut their calories. I know that I'm sounding like kind of like a broken record, but this stuff is, I don't know, it frustrates me, man, because I feel like people use these words and this kind of rhetoric to scare people. And I don't like people being scared. There's no reason to be scared. Losing weight is difficult. It's hard, but you can understand it, right? And you can master it and make it work for you. Things like this, while I think on the surface, it's like, I'm going to help you and I have the answer and this will make it so much easier for you. A lot of times there is an underlying, but if you do it wrong, oh man, you're going to really frick yourself up. And you don't want to do that. You really don't want to mess yourself up, because then you'll be messed up forever. For the rest of your life, you're going to be messed up if you don't do it the right way. So come over here and I'll be able to give you the right tools for a price. And I'll be, I just really don't like it. You don't need less, you need more. When the body is recovering from months or years of stress, it is essential to give the body the proper nourishment and support it needs. The last thing the body needs when it is in a depleted state is a calorie deficit. I get asked a lot, so will you go into a calorie deficit after you eat more? And the answer to that question is nope. I will continue to fuel and nourish my body. Stressing about staying within a calorie deficit, that's actually incredibly unhealthy. Again, this isn't like life-changing rocket science type of stuff, because I am also technically doing that, right? Because I'm not in a deficit. I'm not trying to lose weight. Like, eventually, this is the stuff that I've talked about a ton. Once you lose the weight, you're not going to, what are you going to do? Continue to lose weight until you disappear? No, right? Like, we have to get to a point where we maintain, right? And maybe we build muscle. Maybe we, you find out what you're going to do when you get there. Or I would suggest, have that as part of the plan while you're losing the weight, right? This is why I don't love the idea that some people have of lose weight, bam, that's its one thing. And then after losing weight, figure out stuff, like this is a lifelong journey, and losing the weight is just part of the spectrum of things that you are doing during your life, right? Like, I lost the weight in a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. I don't know exactly the amount of time it took, but that was just a part of my life. And now I am maintaining the weight loss, but it's not like I think to myself, there was this bam, wall that I put in that is like, this was the weight loss section of my life, and now this is the, it's all part of the same journey, right? So yes, I am not like in a deficit, because I'm not going to be in a deficit for the rest of my life, right? It's I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah. I will eat to continue to nourish my body, stressing about staying within a calorie deficit. That's actually incredibly unhealthy, especially if you're wanting to promote longevity and age optimally. Calorie deficits are a thing of the past. I mean, no, not really. That's how you lose weight. That's how you lose weight. Even if you're on a GLP-1, even if you're get weight loss surgery, right? The way that you are losing weight is by being in a deficit. You've watched this mentality destroy your parents' relationship with their body. Don't let it destroy yours too, right? So again, it's that kind of fear mongering of like, see, don't do it wrong. Don't do it wrong, or you will regret it, right? It's time to step into a new way, not one with restriction and shame, but a way where food fuels healing, energy, and confidence. Welcome to the future. And then she says, comment me and I'll send you stuff. And so I'm assuming that when people comment me, they are sent to this. So this is her website here. And it goes on to say, Sandra Wagner, nutritionist, fitness specialist, hormone health expert. So I wonder what the credentials are, because I technically am a nutritionist, because anyone could be a nutritionist, right? It doesn't really mean anything. Fitness specialist, again, I mean, that doesn't, and then hormone health expert, I don't know, curious, right? Where are like the SCP, SMA, LMNAP, you know what I mean? All the little like letters next to people's names. I don't see any little letters next to their names. If you've ever felt like no matter how hard you try, your body just won't respond the way it used to, you're not alone. I want you to know you're not broken. You're burned out, and this is where we fix that. I help women restore their metabolism, feel at home in their bodies again, and finally get the results they dream of without dieting, obsessive tracking, or burning out. This isn't another quick fix, as proven yet. So it's just basically the same stuff, and you click on here and it just takes you to a Calendly, which you have to, this is kind of another marketing thing, right? Because there's no price that you get, and you have to hop on this 30-minute call before you're going to be in a call face to face, I'm assuming, with her. It makes it kind of, some people, it's hard for them to really say no. They feel kind of pressured. I don't love that method of doing things. I think if you're going to do coaching, the pricing should be upfront right there. There's no reason to hide it. But that's another thing. That's just my own opinion. But that's kind of besides the point. But this is, I don't know. I maybe it's not that big of a deal, but I saw this and I really don't like it, because while maybe she is a very nice person, I'm not saying that she's evil because she's doing this. I'm not saying that, she's trying to hurt people. But this type of marketing, and whenever something sounds too good to be true, It is. It is, especially in fitness. No one is eating 10,000 calories a day and feeling great and, you know, improving the health of their like relationship with food and everything's great. Like, there might be people, which maybe this is what is happening with her, where she was severely restricting for a very long time. And now she is genuinely eating more than she has in the past, especially daily, right? Every day she might be eating more than she used to when she was trying to lose weight, whatever, right? And that now she is feeling better. She's feeling stronger. And that's been a really cool thing for her. That certainly might be the case. And I wouldn't be surprised. And that happens with a lot of people. And that's great, right? But it's this influencerization of everything where everything has to be cranked up to 11. I'm eating 10,000. No. Come on, dude. Let's be real. I need proof. Okay. You're saying the science doesn't back it. Let's see some scientific proof that you are eating consistently 10,000 calories a day and not gaining any significant amount of weight. And actually, from what, you know, the claim here is that this was before and this is after. So it looks like some weight loss has happened. So you are actually losing weight by eating 10,000 calories a day, every day. I don't believe it. That's just my opinion. But I would love to know what y'all think down in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.